Avoiding immigration fraud is today's topic. We're going to be spending 10 minutes or less to break it down, discuss it. It's an interesting topic and one that's really misunderstood. Yeah. I'm Sam Shihab with the law firm of Shihab, Burke, and with me?
Brian Burke from Shihab, Burke.
Immigration fraud is the favorite request for evidence statement that we see by USCIS or basis for denial, and they're too quick to the trigger on that one.
Yeah, you can find anytime there's a series of, think of connect the dots. Anytime there's a series of dots, USCIS's inclination is to draw that, is to complete the lines in a way that spells fraud. And there's often reasonable explanations for their accusations of fraud, for sure.
Often overdone.
Yeah.
Often, a lot of times they're wrong, a lot of times they're right.
Yeah.
But they are definitely a lot of times wrong on that.
Yeah.
But let's get to the basics. What is fraud and what is immigration fraud?
Well, fraud is basically, broadly being sort of untruthful and lying to get some sort of benefit, to extract some sort of benefit somewhere, right?
Whether from government or private entity,
yeah.
fraud is...
Still fraud's a thing, yeah.
Induce somebody to do something based on information you provided that is false.
Yeah, it's I own the Brooklyn Bridge. I'll definitely sell it to you if you give me $1 million. That, something like that. A very extreme and, old school example, but yeah.
In the immigration context.
So, in the immigration context, keeping it simple for this venue here, it's basically an inaccurate statement or information given to the government that is used to try to get you an immigration benefit.
Yes. And there's a lot of it that happens inadvertently, and it's immaterial whether it's advertent or inadvertent.
Yeah.
If you commit fraud on a government official or on a government document, you have the consequence, and this is very important for people to understand. Immigration fraud has a consequence of permanent bar on getting any benefit, and people sometimes fall in the trap of being not truthful on an application for reasons that we were discussing a moment ago. Yeah. Maybe we should go through it. Sometimes it's cultural, sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. Sometimes you come from a country where lying is viewed as a survival. Yeah. If you don't lie in a government application, you're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
So you have to lie. This is what everybody does. It's standard over there, wherever you came from.
And you sort of have to contrast it against the civil service and government in the United States. And what I usually tell people is it's fundamentally honest around here. It's a little bit miserable because it's costly and it's slow, but it's fundamentally honest, and that's what you get here, which is a good thing.
And then some people come from a culture, and I'm not. Listen, I came from a third world country too. I understand how the world over there is bent sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it is. But there are certain places and certain things where it's understood that everybody lies. Everybody does it.
You're never going to get to the front of the line unless you slip the guy $20,
It's not a reflection on your moral character. You're an honest man. But we're dealing with the government. You got to do it that way. Otherwise, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
So it's everyone does it. If you're honest, you may be stupid. The understanding, this guy's an idiot. What is he saying? What is he putting in this application? Smart people lie and pay bribery to get. That's why he made a lot of money. Look at this. Mm-hmm. So that understanding, and then sometimes viewed as rules and obstacles. These rules are creating an obstacle, so you can create a system of corruption and bribery where I came from. But what happened is, you live in that world sometime, not everybody, but sometime, and then you come to this country as an immigrant, and you don't make the emotional and the mental adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, that is, yes, I 100% agree with what you say. And
not true for everybody, but there is people caught in that trap sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people ask me as an immigration attorney, they'll say, well, how would they know? And my answer is, it doesn't matter how they know. They might never know, but your obligation in this process is to be truthful and, and that's it,
Yes. So the most common one, Brian, is the visitor visa entry to the United States. When people hide their intention when they come in, they say, why are you coming here? Well, I'm coming here to stare at the Statue of Liberty and
I'm going to, go to Disney World. Go to Disney World. Disney World very popular.
And they never go to Disney World, and they have other intentions.
Yeah, it turns out you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend that you're coming to see, and the consulate's very good at sort of filtering those things out.
Yeah.
But and people think sometimes that I made it past the consulate, I'm here. One thing to think about fraud is it can stick with you.
Yeah.
I got my visa, I'm here, nobody's going to remember that anymore. They do. We have talked to people, I've talked to plenty of people before who basically say, Brian, I have a problem in my green card case right now because I've been asked about my consular visa application, my original one 10 years ago. The gentleman who I'm thinking of is the one who didn't hand in a, let's say, accurate resume for his first H-1B visa application, and they brought it up about 15 years in his employment-based green card application, and they had him sign a form and saying, yeah, I didn't give truthful information, clipped him for fraud right there, and there goes his green card after 15 years. These things don't go away,
What about the concept of arrest and conviction? There's a lot of confusion, and a lot of people get caught in that situation. People think that if I did not go before behind bars,
Yeah.
I'm not arrested. Whereas the concept of arrest is a lot broader than that.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because people don't understand that if you're locked behind in a police car, if they put you in the back seat and they close that door where you cannot open that door, you're arrested.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, I have a good example for you. I represented the guy maybe like 2 years ago who was picked up in a prostitution sting, right? He was in a motel, and there were police in the room next door, and they caught him as he came in. And basically, he came into the room, he did whatever he was supposed to get so the evidence of the crime, offering to pay money for it. And they come out of the room next door, they arrest him, and they hand him a ticket, and hand him a ticket, and he was done. And the answer, the context was, I'm completing a visa application, right? And have I ever been arrested? I said, that's a really complex question. And what we did is we went to the police and got the police records. They're the ones who tell you whether you're arrested. And it was, yep, the police records, said we arrested this guy and let him go. It can be as little as that,
And if there was an arrest, it doesn't mean there is a negative consequence to your immigration case. A lot of people are arrested and then released,
Yeah.
and there's no issue.
Yeah.
One of the things, and I want to take a moment here before we run out of 10 minutes and talk about what is not material, because that's important to talk about. Before we do that, a couple of examples of fraud that people fall into inadvertently. Missing the list of organizational membership. List all the organizational membership that you've had in the last 10 years, and then you skip some. Now, not all of them are material, Brian.
Yeah, for be clear, you're talking about I-485 towards the middle part of the form, right before they get to security questions. They say, are you a member of organizations? And a lot of people, they have nothing, and it surprises me. Yeah.
Yeah. So if the one that you skipped is the Boy Scout of America, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But if you are a member of an organization that is listed as a blacklisted by the government, not listing that organization is material.
Yeah. They could say, well, even if you didn't do anything wrong by being a member of that, you could have, we wanted to investigate that, you deprived us of the ability of it, that sort of thing.
The unfortunate thing, Brian, about this membership is sometimes you are a member, but you don't remember anymore, you're not aware. Mm-hmm. They say, give us $100 donation, is completely tax deductible, and it's going to give you a membership in our organization as well. Yeah. But you're handing the $100, you don't care about membership.
Yeah.
But you became a member.
Yeah.
But if that member organization is blacklisted,
or later down the road, even it turns out organization ABC was into some bad things. We have a list of people who are members. We can go back and I don't know, magic of modern AI cross-reference that versus were any of these foreign nationals who applied for a green card, for example.
A lot of people don't understand expunged record must be disclosed.
Number one problem. It's when I'm doing an I-45, somebody will call me up and the question's pretty clear. It says on the I-45 form whether it's been expunged or sealed, and still the amount of people I've had to convince saying, yes, I don't care what the criminal lawyer told you. I don't care what the judge told you. This form trumps them. But
if you expunged a record that has no impact on immigration, missing or not listing that is not immigration fraud.
Yeah. Immaterial, not important.
It's immaterial. However, if the thing that you've listed is of a serious nature, it could be material.
Yeah, and again, I think my opinion is that the government is more likely, than me to classify something as material. So, it's very possible if there's an allegation of fraud to really get in a fight over materiality with them, and they're going to think things are more material than, say, me or you.
The number one thing that I see, Brian, that has an impact is using a third-party service that's not a lawyer to prepare your forms. That is a disaster. 9 times out of 10, I see errors, mistakes that lead to material misrepresentation problems across the board.
On top of that, it sounds like you're talking about here inside the United States, but I am before people even get to this country.
Outside the U.S.
Visa application services overseas, I just gave my information to a guy, and what that person does is does the DS-160 for you for your first visa application. If I look a little bit here, it makes me boil how badly that people can do a job on those things, and it really screw people's cases up down the line. They'll put in whatever they want because they think it'll get you a visa approved. Is the bottom line.
Marking you a citizen, just for fun, or you think you're being cute in a passport, not a passport, the driver's license application, or things like that, is a disaster because it's permanently deportable. I mean, and also,
and they can, talk about things. Is it material? It's the government's going to say there's so many good things you can get by having a U.S. You could have the police just, if there could be a pullover situation by the police that you could weasel out of by just, leaving them to think you're a U.S. Citizen. Their imagination can run absolutely wild in terms of materiality, for sure.
What's not material, though, so people understand, let's say you put in your height is 5'11", in most cases, Brian, because we've had this discussion before. In most cases where your height is 5'8".
Sam and I love to sit here and come up with hypothetical scenarios that we feel very confident in, and the other person says, no, here's why. That's wrong.
Or things like that are inadvertent. The color of your eye is black, but they're brown. Language differences, because in certain countries it's called black and in the U.S. it's called brown. Things like that are not material. But immigration fraud is a permanent bar on becoming a U.S. permanent resident, and people find themselves intertwined with that, struggle with that very frequently. So I thought it's worth 10 minutes. Hopefully that's helpful. All right, so let's move on and see if there are questions that were posed. Also, we can go to immigrationquestions.us, where people drop questions during the week, and we try to answer those questions. If you drop it on that portal, we will get you an answer regardless whether we do it here publicly, or we'll email you a response to your question.
Yeah, the good thing though, I've seen more questions getting in the door at immigrationquestions.us.
It's a service that we do so people can.
But let's start with this lovely live question from, and I'm going to put it on the big screen here so we all can see it, from Wesley, who is a frequent viewer. Hi, Sam and Brian. Dropbox is gone. Visa extension inside USA is dropped. While scrutiny towards illegal immigration can be understood to some extent, why is this admin so against legal immigrants?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Brian, what do you think the answer is? Because I don't have an answer.
Well, I will. So, high level, the general public, and I think a lot of people in politics in general, have no clue how our immigration system works. They don't understand how people become illegal. And I'd say legal immigration can also eventually lead to unlawful overstays. The travel ban that the president put out as part of, his big unlawful immigration push is not obviously entering the United States unlawfully is always banned. But they said there's certain countries here, that said when we give people visitor visas from these countries, a large percentage of them overstay. And that's, lawful immigration applying for visitor visas, but basically turning them off because people from these countries tend to overstay is something that stops an unlawful problem. If I give you a 6-month visitor visa, I don't want to see you in the country. A year from now. If you tighten down people from countries so you essentially don't trust because of past practices, that's a lawful immigration crackdown that kind of serves their unlawful immigration goal. Have I dodged the question? Have I turned his legal immigration question?
I'm listening and thinking at the same time. I think it has to do with attitude. I think the attitude is we get too many immigrants in this country. Obviously, enemy number one are the illegal. I won't call enemy number two are the legal immigrants, but we just got too many of those too. So
do we? I don't know.
Mentality.
Okay, that's what they think. Okay.
The mentality.
Okay.
The mentality. So if we are just basically being unwelcoming in everything possible, maybe we can thin that. And if we are hurting the economy, we can change our direction because everybody wants to come to America and people have a short memory.
Yeah.
Attitude.
Yeah.
The attitude.
Yeah.
That kind of where it's coming from is where it's.
For me on the other side, as an immigration attorney, I always wonder can they break that idea that people always want to come to America? That's the interesting question.
The truth is, America is what I don't know, 3% of the world, 4% of the world. I have no idea. The fact is, about 75% of the world wants to come to America.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight you too hard on that.
However,
it's a very immigration attorney sort of opinion to have, though.
However, while I respect everybody's desire to come to America, obviously it's not
it's not practical.
It's not practical, and we want the smartest and the brightest.
Any country's immigration policy wants that. Yeah.
But our culture obviously turns those down. These people, if they're not feeling secure and safe, they don't want to come.
Yeah, and that is the problem. If you have 10,000 more ICE officers on the streets pursuant to the new budget, I'm not the person, the native-born Caucasian guy who sounds like he comes from the East Coast. I'm not the person who's going to be harassed and harangued. The people who are going to be, the people who are coming here, the people who are speaking with an accent, the people who are a different color than me. They're the ones who are going to be sort of facing the nasty. I mean, it's not necessarily. As an aside, on lawful immigration, touch wood and cross fingers, we haven't really seen much change in policy on legal immigration aside from birthright citizenship, which, again, taking away that benefit for people who are here lawfully is, I don't know how that's going to survive, but
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Drop your questions as they come in here, but there's one topic that we have not talked about, Brian.
Yeah.
In the sphere of immigration fraud.
Yeah.
Is employment. When people say, "Have you ever worked without authorization?" and they say no, but some people work for foreign companies in the U.S.
Yeah.
Students, especially F1 students, work for these foreign companies. Well, I'm working for this Australian company here in the U.S. I'm working for this. We've had very, very smart people fall in that trap.
Yeah.
That is unauthorized employment.
People don't believe me when I explain this. Just because you're not getting paid in this country, and doesn't mean you're working this, and you're not working for a U.S. employer, doesn't mean that your work without authorization in the United States is allowed. The logic of it is, from the Department of Labor's perspective, is if we have somebody getting paid, money inside the United States, and they are not working in our economy, they're still impacting our economy by getting paid, by eventually just hanging out here and getting paid.
The cases that I see a lot is, yeah, I went to my friend who owns a grocery store, and for example, sale of an underage person, and this guy now is handing beer, and running the register. What are you doing behind the register? Helping my friend. That is so unbelievable, the story.
I've encountered that story a couple times before. I got
so unbelievable.
How did you get a ticket for selling cigarettes to somebody under the age of 18 if you weren't working there? Well, I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I was helping.
Yeah.
And he stepped out for a minute.
Yeah.
But this is not a believable story.
Yeah.
The other one is when you run like a online business, like eBay store, and you're buying and selling. That's employment.
Well, okay, running an eBay store, I'll give you that. I mean, you're allowed to sell, if you're on an H-1B visa, you can sell your old bicycle on eBay, for example. But,
But that's not running an eBay store.
Yeah.
An eBay store is when you're buying items and selling
Yeah.
them. Now you're going in and you're shopping, you're going to auctions, you're picking up some stuff.
Well, what I've done is muddied the waters a bit, and when do you hit that inflection point is when it becomes a job.
I think the moment you buy and sell, you've crossed that line. If you're buying it and you're using it for yourself, and then you sold it a year later, 6 months later, 2 weeks
Sure.
later, I'm okay. But you buy this item and it sits here and you list it.
I
on
bought
eBay.
this thing for resale because I can make $100 here. It becomes it sounds like a side hustle, which is employment.
Which is employment.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize. So we got a question here from Chandra Kanth. Raja Prohit. I hope I did not mispronounce it. Hello, sir. Can we purchase other countries' citizenship while on H-1B and became their citizens, still apply for H-1B renewal instead of India?
You know something about these programs, Sam Shihab?
Yeah, so I do represent people really worldwide in golden visa applications in Europe, which is becoming scarce and shutting down now because the European Union has basically issued an opinion that these are not favored, and they're favoring now an investment or a concept-based or intellectual property-based residency. But there's some left, here and there. But in some locations, you still can buy it. The U.S. disfavors those, and as a matter of fact, the second wave of travel ban may list these countries and these.
Presumably, in the logic that little country XYZ in the Caribbean that takes $250,000 of your money and gives you citizenship, they're not vetting people. We can't trust the information they have about you.
And they got blacklisted on e-visas now. So before you were able to buy in certain countries that have e-visa rights, and they come to the United States, they added a provision that says you have to have a multi-year residency before you can get that.
Yeah.
So it is disfavored, but it has not 100% disappeared. But to answer the question, can you buy a citizenship and apply for an H-1B from the citizen? I think you can. Absolutely. I don't see a problem conceptually, but these options are if you want to do that, do it now. In the next 5 years, these are few and far in between.
Yeah, I think I interpret the question maybe a little bit differently. It's basically, I'm sitting here on my couch, I work from home, I'm just in the United States on an H-1B visa, and I have the money, I can buy a citizenship elsewhere. And the bottom line is, does it interrupt my current H-1B status? And the answer is
no.
No, yeah.
It does not. No, it does not interrupt. But so what you will need to do, because the U.S. law, the visa you've entered is the visa, the citizenship, the passport you've entered is the citizenship that connects you. You only get one hat in this country. You cannot have two hats. Yeah. You cannot be dual. You can be a citizen of one country or the other. You cannot be citizen of both countries at the same time in the U.S.
For purpose, yeah.
So if you want to use that for the next H-1B application, be aware that you may have to leave and re-enter and get a stamp.
Yeah, they may find that interesting.
You cannot use your other passport while in the U.S.
Yeah, I expect. Yeah, you can give it to them. It's not going to harm if you let them know you're citizen of this country.
It's likely that they may not issue 994 based on the switch in passports.
Yeah, they might find that interest. The answer is I think it's more of an RFE thing, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. But that's a good this question. A little bit different than we normally see.
So ABC 90, I dropped a sort of three-part question above. I would appreciate your time. Thank you. We would be happy to answer it, but we didn't see that question come in here. Maybe if you dropped it before we started, sometimes those things don't come in immediately.
Yeah. Can you drop them again so we can?
Yeah, we'll be happy to answer it here for you.
Yeah. What is that here? I don't see it, Brian.
Oh, this one right here. I'm not sure if we can answer this one, but.
What are some of the dumbest mistakes that your clients made in your career that jeopardized their cases? Well, no mistake is a dumb mistake.
Yeah,
they're all heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I think the dumbest one, honestly, is the voting one. I had a client many years ago. He dropped off his wife at the voting booth for her. She's a U.S. citizen. To vote, and these old ladies at the voting center,
they're ravenous.
They said, "You're here, you might as well vote." he said, okay, what the heck, I'll go in and vote. And then walked in and voted. And he became deportable. He was a permanent resident. He became deportable. And as a matter of fact, they filed for deportation against him based on that.
Yeah, and that's, what is that saying? That's you know, fraud or misrepresentation, representing yourself to be a United States citizen, you get a benefit.
Burden of proof is on the government.
And inadvertent, too.
Yeah. Negligent, stupidity.
Yeah.
And the burden of proof is on the government, Brian.
Yeah.
Burden of proof is on the government. And this ICE attorney had a very negative interaction with the judge on the case immediately before our case. And when I stepped in, he did not have the file ready, and he wasn't ready. She dismissed the case, and he survived. So he was lucky.
Yeah.
And you know, here's the sad thing: these mistakes have a true human side to it. Outside that room, as we walked out, these teenage daughters crying, and when we told them the government wasn't ready, the case was dismissed, it was an explosion of emotions and hugs. And I looked at those girls and I said, oh my God, what an idiot to do this.
Yeah.
So this is really, really difficult stories that we deal with here every day.
Yeah, I mean, again, negligence is maybe the better answer. Nobody's really kind of dumb, but it's like, often we encounter situations around here where we just are left going, if I had talked to you, this would have been so much better. If you had thought to call somebody, if you didn't think, no, I have it covered. I think of this guy who came to us, you know, the green card interview. They got the talking about his visa from 10 years ago. You know, they got him to sign a statement that says, you know, fraud. And the answer is no. If you had talked about this and you brought somebody with you, if especially in a climate where they're only interviewing employment-based folks for a reason, you know, if somebody was there with you, my answer would have been baloney. Don't sign this in 1,000 years. Let's fight this in court for the next 10 years, and you'll be and the whole time you're going to be in the United States. You know.
Let's take the next one, Brian.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. So ABC has come through with these questions here. So ABC, we're going to get to the one from Ahmed there, but we're going to answer it. If Perm ETA 9089 was filed and Section FC1 left blank mistakenly for travel requirements, but ETA 9141 Section F3DA stated travel required, will the Perm be denied without audit?
Well, the answer to this question is good luck, because I can see an officer letting it go. I've seen another officer, they'll get it denied.
Good point. There are human beings that review these perm cases. It's sort of all opaque to us because we just get emails saying certification, but it is possible. I have people have come to me with perm cases, and I'm left going, how the hell did they certify this thing? And they do sometimes.
I don't believe that all perms are reviewed at all. I think many perms are just simply approved without even looking at them. That's a great way to.
Well, human beings can approve perms without looking at them and just go,
yeah.
Lunchtime. Gotta get this one done. Approve.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Or I'm working remotely from home and I had to cut the grass, and then now I gotta at least give them something. Here's 2 approved.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But let's keep going here.
So here's a great question that I can answer with some very knowing knowledge, with a good result at the end of it. Follow the perm question. Is it commonplace by DOL to outright deny, or they usually audit, ask for clarification, and decide? All advertising is done correctly, but were never asked. So, darn it, Sam, I hadn't seen. We are crazy about our perms. We review them as actual fiends. And a while back, we were surprised to get a perm decision, negative decision, without an audit, right? And the answer is, so it's possible.
Which we overturned.
Yeah, yes. So immediately we file a motion to reopen on that perm. It's certified now. Happy client, happy employee. But the answer to that is yeah, they can. And the answer to that is you file an audit. But again, on the case, I won't get into details, but the case I'm thinking of is my response to the denial was, what? you should have audited this first and asked about this because you're clearly wrong. You just made a presumption based upon something you have no clue about. And we basically told him as such in the perm audit, in the MTR. And on the bright side, I don't know if it was a side effect of the new perm system. We got a decision on these things on this one like 30 days, relatively quickly. So yeah.
All right. Anything else here? We hit the 6 hour, but there's one guy that we've
we
overlooked.
skipped by.
I don't want to do that to him.
Yeah, it would be rude.
Yeah. So Ahmed, I know we must carry the green card at all time, but I'm afraid of losing it. Can I carry a laminated copy or on my phone? So I can only tell you the law, and the law is clear. And I've never, recommended anybody carry their green card ever before until this.
For the very reason that
until this
you will lose it.
Yeah. So. They're interested in carrying bad guys. They're not interested in harassing people who are legal in this country. But as an attorney, I cannot say yes to that question because I am a tool to explain to you what the law is. That's my job. So if I were you, would I do that? Probably. But clearly, there's a risk involved, and that risk you understand. You're a big boy. You're an adult. You understand that. Benefit cost is the question. You decide.
Yeah, I mean, we sit here to tell you what the law is, and anytime you want to vary from perfect compliance, and that is we explain risks, and that's what you're dealing with there.
All right, sounds good. Thank you guys for listening to us. We will come back.